So you might remember from the beginning of Hinduism the lines from the Kipling poem "East is East and West is West, and never the two shall meet," and the talk of God's great judgment seat. In that, um, this is where we're coming to now. In the second half of the semester, we'll be looking at these Western faiths. Now, we don't always think of the Middle East, Middle Eastern nations, Islamic nations as Western, but in relation to religion, in relation to looking at kind of a comparison to Hinduism and Buddhism, and some of the core ideals there that we've discussed, um, Christianity and Islam are um, rather, and Judaism, right? They share a core, and we want to talk about that core this time. This one will start in our first unit, in our first module on these Abrahamic faiths. Part of that core is their founding and some of their founding principles, which we'll look at. The idea about creation, about the nature of God, about the nature of life and life after death. Obviously, there are going to be some big differences as we go further and deeper between these three great traditions. But Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all rooted in this one founding story of Abraham and his coming to God and creation. So that's what we'll be looking at. That's going to be our focus. And in our first session, we'll be looking at how the kind of the story of creation and giving of the law is foundational to all three of these faiths. Early on, we'll begin to see some of the little breakings up, but not in the very first kind of founding principles. We have much more in common between someone of a Christian background and someone of a Muslim background than we often do between someone of a Christian background and someone of a Hindu background. So that, in that sense, these traditions may be easier in some ways. Also because we may just be more familiar with them. Still, sometimes familiarity can make us miss things. We can think we know something that we don't. So hopefully you'll learn some new things as well as we delve into these Abrahamic traditions.